back to another reactionary video with your girl Sarah, and today we are back at it with another reaction to Young David. This one is episode 2 called King. Now I am excited to get into it. I don't know about you, but please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment suggestions of what you would like me to see in the future. And as always, please keep it Christian friendly. It does not have to be a Christian show or movie, but it does need to be Christian friendly if it is to be considered. Don't understand those qualifications because I know every Christian is different. I stay away from things with strong profanity, sexual content, and the glorification of magic. I won't say no magic, period, because there's magic in the Bible, so that would disqualify it, but just as a matter of not promoting magic is good on any kind of scale, because in my opinion, it has been clearly pointed at no. So I don't watch anything that glorifies it, but as far as in having it in that aspect of the world, just depends on a case-by-case scenario. But yes, let's go ahead and get on into it. I always feel vibes to this. Just, to me, it's kind of like that feeling of in an IMAX theater that you can feel it type deal. That is a wonderful shot. I know it's not a shot, but as far as in like, that was wonderful. And we got our two mischieving. I don't think that's how you pronounce it.
How many times do I have to rescue you?
Word.
That's
Whatever.
right. As many times as you need.
But already just like the Lord, rescuing us as many times as we need.
Huh?
Counting his sheep. Now, isn't that just wonderful? Like, I've mentioned before that David very much is a Jesus impacted character, and I know this is not his stories in the Bible, at least not yet. As far as they're not showing any yet of actual stories in the Bible, just kind of like how The Chosen is, to where they put in biblical fan fiction, to say the least, where it's not bad, it's just a flair of its own. But it definitely is keeping into his character of kind of like a Jesus type character, to where he hears a sheep, he notices none of his are astray, so it's not necessarily the 99 type deal, but it very much is our boy is still going out to figure out who's lost and who he might need to help out, just like the Lord is. Like, you might not be directly one of his sheep, but if you are needing help, he's going to try to help you, especially if you are calling out. Like, that is, how do you think people become saved? If you don't have the Holy Spirit, how are you supposed to expect that guidance? So it's kind of like a calling to home before it's your home type deal. That very much does become the case of where you might not know Jesus, and you might not be, because you're not part of his family in a technical sense if you're not Jewish, and or if you are not. Like, I don't know what the qualifications are. If you grow up like in a Christian household, you tend to know Jesus even if you don't know Jesus. So I don't know if that, like, as far as, and there are plenty of people who are not raised in knowing Jesus, nor Jewish, nor just like anything, but he will still call you in to be his child and rescue you. And that's kind of what this is giving off vibes wise. Which does beg the question of if that is supposed to, oh, there's our sheep.
Hey, girl.
But that does come to beg the question of the whole parable of the 99, leaving the 99 to find the one. Like, if you don't know, like, as always, verses, not always, but as most of the time, verse wherever, verses, chapter, whatever the story, right here. But because it is a sheep of his that is lost, that gives me the impression more so that it is somebody who knows Jesus, as in of the Jewish faith, because I mean, technically, biblically speaking, they are, once they are saved, they are just like re-grafted in, so it's like a child lost coming back home. And as far as in maybe a Christian, like someone who know, like it represents, it sounds like it's supposed to represent, the more you dig into it, someone who does know Jesus, who is home to, so like a wandering Christian, like the prodigal son, someone who is of the faith or knows God and wanders away and has to be ushered back in. At the same time, I know, or I can strongly assume, it's supposed to be associated to sinners in general, but I don't know, it gives someone who thinks of a more logical reasoning and more of like gets into nitpicking things, not as in I'm trying to tear it apart, but as far as, and that's just how my brain works, to where I unintentionally find plot holes or try to find ties or just whatever. Like if there's something there to be noticed, I'm not always going to notice it, but if I do notice it, it's hard for me not to unnotice it. So this being a story of losing your own, basically, like someone you have and no longer have, like you were guarding but now you aren't. Like, I'm not going to say that Jesus and God don't protect people that aren't of his kingdom, because I mean, there are very many cases to where he comes to protect. At the same time, it leads to believe that, like, when you are saved, you are under his protection more, like, so. Like, there are going to be circumstances to where just, like, you have to lean onto him for, like, I don't know, I don't want to say, like, more protection, as in, like, he's going to, like, disown you if you don't lean onto him. But as far as, and there are circumstances to where you need to lean onto him for, like, more guidance and more protection, and just, like, building up your relationship with him is very important as far as in that aspect. Like for example, there are many circumstances just in my life alone to where I know that because I leaned on him, I had more protection in that situation. I'm not going to say that he would have, like, cut me off dry and not protected me at all. And I still have the wise understanding that because of leaning into him, there was protection there more so than there would have been. Like, he didn't let me fall in a way that would have helped me grow back to him because I was already in him. So kind of like the whole ordeal of the lost sheep, like it's like the lost sheep is lost, which implies that it's wandered away from where it was prior. And that being said, if it was priorly in the Lord's field, then like I said, that gives the impression that it is a person, like his child, going away, and you're not his child. I know it sounds like being harsh, but that is, biblically speaking, it refers to that we are adopted into his family, which implies that you can't be adopted into a family that you are a part of already. So that in itself shows that everyone is not God's children. So him rescuing his child implies that it was his child, so part of his family already. Though, like I said, I know that I can strongly assume that you're supposed to reference it as a sinner coming to the kingdom, like that was already out. But like I said, just this seems more representative of, I'm not saying this is biblical, like I said, this is biblical fan fiction to say the least. But this is more understanding, logical wise, of this is not his sheep, yet he is still going to get it, and this is what Jesus does. So this more so like seems logical of a sheep in general is needing rescuing, and then he can welcome it into his flock of sheep. I know that was a long tie of words, but I hope you get what I was trying to express. Wasn't necessarily something extremely theological, but it was just, I don't know, where my brain was at. This is a commentary reactionary channel in part, so you will get commentary and reactions, and that was my commentary bit and reaction. But let's go ahead and get back into it.
Hey, girl. What are you doing down here?
Oh.
Hey, no, it's okay. It's okay. Come on.
He's at least keenly aware of, like, that something's up, and knowing to... like with people in general, like you have to be aware of like if you see somebody. I'm sorry, his singing always trips me up. It's just so sweet and so adorable and just like a lullaby.
Gibor, step away from the lyre.
How the seriousness and the sweet that comes with the comedy is just perfect.
What are you doing with one of King Saul's sheep?
So King Saul is already king. Like we don't know the actual time frame.
Don't have to hurt her to get her free.
Jeez Louise.
I almost had it!
You will have had it if you don't get lost, shepherd boy.
Okay, I don't know who's cuter, Tally or his little sister.
Who's that?
Name is Doeg, the king's head shepherd.
You're
And
stinky.
Zeruiah!
I guess we could see why he's got a soft spot for Tally. Definitely two of the same cloth. Or cut from the same cloth, I very much think.
I'd like to buy her.
But like I was saying, I'm gonna have to pause it while I say this, cause it's in a good part. But like I was saying, we don't really know the time in between Saul becoming king and David being anointing, so we don't necessarily know like if technically David was even born when he became king. We can assume maybe, but I mean, there's not much time frame in that kind of sense. We know that he became part of his, not his guard, but his, he became his, what is it called? Armor bearer. I think that's what he became because it was his armor bearer, I want to say, before he started playing music for him. I want to say, I could be wrong. No, he might have been playing music before because I think I always thought it was weird that he didn't necessarily seem to know who David was when David came up to Goliath, but he already came into action. So I will put context here. I want to say he was playing music for him prior to Goliath, which is kind of like, dude plays music for you all the time and you're not going to recognize him? That's kind of confusing. But if that is not the case, I definitely do know that he knew David before Goliath, or at least should have. Like, David was in his proximity. I want to say he either became armor bearer after or before. I don't know. My brain, when I go to that, always got confused in the sense of why are they off without David? Like, David had to come to the front lines. Like, I kind of get it. He was the boy, so he's going to be dismissed. So maybe that was the whole ordeal. Like, the king's gone away, and even though you are needed for the king, you're not needed for this because you're just a boy, so we're not going to bring you to the front lines. I guess that could have been kind of the idea behind it. But yeah, I'm not going to say rub me the wrong way, but that did confuse me of why, for one, David wasn't at the front lines when he was like involved, yet even his brothers were. Like, that kind of intrigues me. Like, I would like to know more about his history. I think that would be fun, like digging into history of specific character, or not character, that sounds, specific people in the Bible. This being also, like, as far as we get so much of David's life, but it implies that there was some, unless they were just part of the army because they're strong and able men, his brothers, so they're just on the front lines because they need them. I guess that could be it. I don't know. It just always seemed odd that he wasn't there, and even more so that Saul didn't recognize him. Like, I could get if you're just kind of like in the background of things, but if you're like in position where he was needed, like, I feel like you would kind of at least recognize him, because it very much was implied, because he's just like, who is this boy? Or whose boy is this? Or whatever. And it's just like, wouldn't you kind of like, unless you just are like so out of your mind that you're just like not thinking about it, or you just are that bad with names and faces, I don't know. But we don't know the context, but it clearly is Saul is king at this point in time. And I lost track of the point I was getting at. But Saul is king. It is clear that is the case. Don't know how long he's been king. We can assume maybe probably a few years, I would say at least, in this context. Or a couple years, I don't know. It seems like he's at least a prominent figure at this point to where people are well aware of him. And he's got at least, well, I wouldn't say riches because he's king, because if I'm not mistaken, his dad had some kind of riches, not like the riches of the land, but he definitely had like his own stuff, I want to say. But yes, let's get back into it.
She's not good for anything.
Then I'll be doing you a favor.
Aw,
Very well. I'll
that
take
sweet?
that.
Isn't that the truth of most of us? All of us. Sinful people.
That's my prize. Take it, or leave the sheep with me.
His most prized thing. Because our boy was definitely a musician. I mean, he wrote most of the songs, which I guess technically is not necessarily a genetic thing, but he wrote most of the Psalms and his son wrote most of the Proverbs. Definitely had an artist gene in them. Poetry, even, technically. No, that's just mean. I mean, I get it, he just was trying to, like, be mean. At the same time, how do you even know that was
Sorry he
something
broke
special?
your lyre.
She is just so cute and adorable.
What's this for?
That's the king's sheep. That means you're king.
Okay, her and Tally are just, like, too much cute to handle.
And I am a princess.
This is
Okay,
like just so
princess. Come here.
sweet. She's not used to a kind shepherd.
What do you think we should call her?
Thunderstorm, Iron Hook.
Oh, is that who you think she is?
They got the little girl down pat. Like, they really did do good on, like I said on previous ones, like, they do so good just showing it from, like, a child aspect of just, like, he's still a boy and she's, like, a little girl. Like, they do so well on children. Like, I say that from, like, a writer who tries to be intentional with my writing as well, of when I'm writing a scene that is from the point of view of a child or of certain ages. Like, I try my best to keep the narrative voice, at least, like, not every child is going to be the same with their narrative, whatever the word is. The narrative voice, I guess, is just how I'm going to pronounce it. I don't know, it sounds slightly off, but that's the best I can do. I try to keep the narrative voice true to each character, because not every kid's going to be the same, yet at the same time you have to be, like, understanding that a kid's narrative voice is going to be massively different than adults, even adult version of themselves. Like, there's going to be, like, that's even one thing that I try to do. I flashback consistently with, at least in my main series, it's constantly flashbacking different characters' POV, basically like every other chapter. So I try to, even in that aspect of being consistent with trying to make sure that their age correlates with the proper way I should be narrating it through their voice, whether they are 7 or 12 or whatever their age, like consistently making sure that it's not just their voice being the same with each flashback, but just being genuinely true to what age, like how, like trying to give the vibe of, okay, this is Maddie is like the main character, so we'll just use her. This is Maddie's narrative voice, but this is her at 14, this is her at 7, which is going to be vastly different because your mind in itself is not going to be the same processing and communication and everything. So I like how they are definitely giving off the vibes that they are needing with these, like, David is giving off boy at the same time very mature, which you would expect from somebody who is all day in the fields taking care of sheep, and as we saw, beating up lions and just like that kind of maturity yet immaturity depending on the need or just the scene. Like even just then with him singing and trying to rescue the sheep to begin with was cut with him like playing around also with another one of his sheep. Like that is like so endearing and so sweet, and it's just like I love this series. Like the more I watch of it, the more I fall in love with it, and it's just like amazing. And that is it with my opinions and my commentary for this one, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about this, and definitely try to share it around their video, not mine, but yes, you should definitely share my video as well because that would help out a bunch. But if you liked this video, please go ahead and like it and comment what your thoughts and opinions were of the video we reacted to, and even what you thought of my reaction. Please keep it kind and courteous in the comments, but that is it. And yes, I bid you all adieu. I pray blessings upon you all. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whenever it is for you. It is night for me, so good night to you. Goodbye.